Hi everyone, a very good morning to each one of you. It is extremely a very pleasured moment to connect with each one of you at this 98th Zen Tax Talks webinar. So we have had a very phenomenal number of registrations and a phenomenal number of attendees that very much shows the amount of interest towards this topic of GSTR-9 and 9C. So over all these 97 sessions, it has been very thankful moment to each one of you for having stayed with Zentax Clinic across all these webinars. And this 98th webinar is extremely very special webinar for all of us together. So here we talk about the changes in GSTR-9 and 9C. To have the opening remarks, we have with us our senior expert, our mentor and chief advisor, CAP Paul Thangam, to give the opening remarks for the session, please.
Morning to all. Very happy moment to see the overwhelming participation for this today's session. This shows the importance of this topic. Yes, we are well aware of that, but with the 1 hour slot, we will not be able to complete the entire topic in one day. So that is the thing that I want to stress it. So we will be having another part after 1 or 2 weeks, not next week, because next week some other program has been planned. So after 1 more week, we will be having another session for this topic. So in Rajinikanth, one movie, he will say, Matram Undre Maradadu. Yes, GSTR-9 and then 9C has undergone drastic changes in the reporting format. So that is the thing that we have to consider in it. Nearly 15 changes have been made in the form itself. So I am leaving you with the changes that have been incorporated in the instructions given to the form. So only 15 changes in the form. What is the reason? Because from the experience gained by them in the past years, they want to make this form more meaningful, and then it is giving a more clarification, or it is very easily understandable. So that is the intention. With this intention only, some of the amendments have been carried out in this form. I would dwell upon one of the major amendment. One of the major amendment is introduction of table 6A1 in this GSTR-9. So this is one of the important column, or this is one of the important row that you have to fill it up in the current years, that is 24-25 GSTR-9. See, the GSTR-9, the government's intention is very clear since the inception. See, they want to capture the information pertaining to, see, the word crucial is pertaining. They want to capture the information pertaining to the financial year to which you are furnishing a GSTR-9. See, in the instruction, there is a instruction 2A. See, this 2A, if you go through this instruction 2A, you will understand what is the reason for this form, or what are the things that we must report. For example, they are very specific. 6-7, we should report only the details that we are going for the pertaining to that financial year. So what are the details that are pertaining to financial year? The crucial word is pertaining. Everywhere they will be using. What is the 6A1? 6A1 is the ITC of the previous year. ITC of the previous year that you have claimed during the current year. Why this insertion has come? Because whenever there is a notice is coming, usually notice will come. You have taken ITC more than what is populated in GSTR-2B or 2A as the case. That time, what we will say, suppose a notice comes, okay, this year you have taken an excess ITC. Then immediately you will say, I have taken the excess ITC of the last year, but without any details. Now the government wants to filter out that previous year problem at all. So they want to eliminate that previous year column, or they want you to specify what is the previous year ITC that you have taken. So the basic objective is to reconcile the ITC claimed by you with the what is populated in the GSTR-2B. See how the GSTR-2B, this GSTR-2B will be populated in, auto-populated in table 8A. So what are the contents? They are also specifically mentioning what it will be containing in GSTR-2B. that is table 8A. They specifically state that it will relate only to the invoices for the current year. Even the current year invoices, if it has been populated by the person in the next financial year. For example, invoices relating to March 25 is given by the supplier in April 25, that also will be getting populated in GSTR-2B or table 8A. So that is one of the important change that we must take into consideration. So with this, the table 8A is also getting very much important. Then comes table 8C. So this is another important table. What is the table 8C? So table 8C, they want to ensure that what is the current year ITC that you are taking it to the next year, or that you are going to claim it in the next year. See, so what has to be filled in table 8C? Then what are the amount that, what is the correlation that it has got with the table 13? I am talking with the understanding that you will be fully aware of the tables in the GSTR-9. Whatever I am referring is only tables in GSTR-9. So these are all the tables that are finding a place in the GSTR-9. So proper filling up of these forms attains very, very crucial importance. And also, suppose you are going to give a credit note details, you can net it off and then give. You can give separately also. So credit note, it is also important area. See, now we are getting the notices for the earlier years asking us the reason for the credit notes. Why these credit notes have come? What is the reason? So that is the data now. You are claiming back the tax already paid. You are getting back the amount already paid to the government. So why credit note has to be given? Credit note has to be given if the goods are returned. Suppose you have effected a sales for 1 crore. In the after 2 months, that person is returning the goods. So for that, you are going to give a credit note. So effectively, the tax payable will come down. So now the department wants the notice, or now they are issuing notices for the year 21, 22, or what is the reason for credit note. So when filling up all these tables, you keep it in mind, what are the legal requirements? Discounts. If you are going to give discounts as per, then it should be comply with the provisions of section 15. So 15.3, so whenever you are going to reduce the tax as per the valuation rules, so you have to be very, very clear with the documents that you are having. Because now what you are going to give is going to be the notice for the future. Now this IIT notices you must have seen. Though we used to mention it's IIT notices, these are all the notices given by the department using their background information. But only the total collating the details are done by the IIT. So on this basis of that, notices are coming. What are the notices are coming? So the table in which you are given in GSTR-9 does not match with your 3B or does not match with 3B. So there is a inter-reconciliation is sought at the GSTR-9. So all these aspects have to be kept in mind while filling this GSTR-9. Get amount of to future, because your notices will be based on GSTR-9 and 9C. See, you are giving voluntarily some details. On the basis of details itself, you will be getting notice. So you have to give a proper thought or care to fill up this GSTR-9 and then 9C. Then only you will not be getting the notices in future. Now I invite Arvind Tangam to dwell on the subject of this GSTR-9 and then 9C. We'll be discussing this 9C in 2 sessions. So this today's session and then another session after 2 weeks, we will be having this session. In this, now I invite Arvind Tangam for this session.
So I am sure all of you have understood that GSTR-9 for the financial year 24-25 has the very same heading of GSTR-9 being called as the annual return, but in its sum and substance has had a lot of changes with respect to the understanding of how this form and each of the fields need to be really filled up. So to really get started, let us get started with the very basic of things. Who are the taxpayers who are required to file GSTR-9 and GSTR-9C? Based on their aggregate annual turnover, that is based on their PAN number. If the turnover exceeds rupees 2 crores, then GSTR-9 is applicable. If the turnover based on PAN exceeds rupees 5 crores, then GSTR-9C is also applicable. So what is the PAN-based turnover? All the branch turnover across India, including exempted supplies, nil-rated supplies, non-taxable supplies. All these supplies needs to be included for arriving at the value of turnover based on which GSTR-9 or 9C applicability needs to be looked into. So up to the financial year 23-24, sir, every year they give a notification. So up to 2 crores, this is something which we always very well know. But when we really read through the nuances of this notification for the financial year 24-25, there is one important difference. See, up to the financial 23-24, every year they keep on coming back with the same kind of notification to say up to 2 crores, you need not file GSTR-9. Up to 5 crores, you need not file 9C. And these kind of, specifically for the annual return GSTR-9, the specific exemption is being given year on year. So if you look at this notification dated 10th of July 2024, which was issued for the financial 23-24, it very clearly said, in respect of the financial 23-24 is up to 2 crores. When you read a very similar notification for the financial 24-25, which was issued on the 17th of September 2025, it said that for the financial year 24-25 onwards. So not only for this financial 24-25, for every other financial year going forward, there will not be the requirement of issuing a separate notification for exempting the annual return requirement for those taxpayers having turnover limit up to rupees 2 crores. So going forward for the next year, even though there is no notification issued, GSTR-9 will be required only for those taxpayers who have an aggregate annual turnover above rupees 2 crore in that said financial year. So this is one very small change in the wordings. Only one word added onwards, but this has an implication for all the other years coming forward, right? So should I take my income tax business turnover for arriving at the limit of GSTR-9 and 9C, the 2 crores, 5 crores? Should I look at my income tax turnover? Sir, I am subjected to tax or I am not subjected tax audit, whether that would be a requirement? Absolutely no, because there would be some things which are not forming part of my income tax business turnover, but would be taken as the form, but would be taken as a taxable supply or would be taken as an exempted supply for the purposes of computing the aggregate annual turnover for determining the applicability of GSTR-9 or 9C as the case may be. Some of its situations could be branch transfers from one state to the other state, even when it is within the same PAN. We will not be showing that as turnover in my audited annual financial statements, but whereas for the purposes of GST, it is considered to be a turnover and therefore that shall also be included for arriving at the turnover of rupees 2 crores or 5 crores. Very similarly, any supplies made to related persons, even without a consideration, is deemed to be a supply because of the provisions contained in Schedule 1 of the CGST Act, and therefore, even those transactions, when it is not having any monetary value, will not be included as turnover in my audited annual financial statements, but would be included or considered as a supply for the purposes of GST. Say, for example, some bank interest, some income included under other sources, which are not actually included under the head income from business or profession, not included in the financial statements, but merely taken as income for the purposes of computation of total income. Then also, those will also be considered as part of your aggregate annual turnover, and therefore you need to look something beyond your audited annual financial statements to check whether you are required to file your GSTR-9 and 9C. So basically to say, sir, what will happen if I do not file GSTR-9? If I do not file GSTR-9, the answer would be very immediate to say there could be the applicability of late fee. There could be the applicability of penalty which could be demanded, which are all monetary. Non-monetary activities could be that there could be the applicability of, there could be the initiation of an audit, inspection, search, because a person who has not filed a GSTR 9 or 9C can be taken to be a risk-prone taxpayer. So based on the risk categorization, a person who has not voluntarily complied with the annual return requirement or the requirement of filing a reconciliation statement may be subjected to inspection, audit, search, as the case may be, which are also non-monetary implications of not filing a GSTR-9. On the other side, what is it for the taxpayer who has filed a GSTR-9? One common connotation from the taxpaying community, is that, sir, if I file a GSTR-9, what do I get back in return? Right? If I don't file, I have understood the consequences of the same. If I file a GSTR-9, what could be that I could really get out of it? One common understanding between the trade and community has gone on to say, if I file a GSTR-9, I will get a GSTR-9 notice. I will get a DRC-01 notice, particularly with respect to GSTR-9 filers. If you could see, there has been an attachment to DRC-01 within the bracket for GSTR-9 filers. The taxpaying community has started reaching out to the professional consultants to say, sir, you advised me that GSTR-9 filing is mandatory. But because you filed GSTR-9, I got this notice. Sir, it is for the understanding of the trade and the industry that GSTR-9 filing does not get you a notice. Incorrect filing of GSTR-9 is what gets you a notice. Therefore, it is extremely very important to understand the nuances of GSTR-9, the changes that has come into effect with respect to the GSTR-9 and 9C, so that notices can be avoided. So today, during the course of discussion, we would be discussing on each of the very important fields with respect to GSTR-9, and also at the very same time, we would be discussing on what are the parameters that would trigger the GSTR-9 notices, any notices relating to GSTR-9. Therefore, please pay very close attention to how you need to file and how you should not fill any of the respective fields in GSTR-9 and 9C. So on a very macro view with respect to GSTR-9, we would be able to see that GSTR-9 has almost around 6 parts, and each of these fields we call it as 19 tables. Table number 1 to 3 capturing the basic details. Table number 4 capturing the details of outward supplies which are taxable. Table number 5 capturing the outward supplies which are not subjected to tax. Table number 6, 7, 8 talking about the input tax credit. Table number 9 talking about the difference of tax payable minus tax paid. That net difference is also given as an additional column from the financial year 24-25. Table number 10 to 14 talking about the transactions of 24-25 reflected in the transactions of reflected in the GST returns of 25-26. Table number 15 talking about demands and refunds. Table number 16 talking about some specific supplies, talking about some composition transactions. Table number 17 and 18 talking about the HS and summary of outward and inward supplies, and table number 19 talking about the late fee amount to be paid. So talking about it from a class by class basis, how to really file GSTR-9 annual return. GSTR-9 under services, under returns, you have the annual return. If you go to the annual return, then you select the financial year 24-25, you have the option to prepare online. So that is the difference between GSTR-9 and 9C. GSTR-9 you can prepare online and you can also submit it online. Whereas with respect to GSTR-9C, there is no option of preparing it online. You have to only prepare it offline in an Excel utility, and then you have to e-file in the online portal. So once you select prepare online, there would be a request to say whether you want to file nil return, yes or no. So if you have filed any of the returns with values, then you need to say no, and you will proceed to file the annual return. So one of the key aspects for the preparation of annual return is the auto-populated values, number 1. Number 2 is the system computed or the auto-computed values that are already given to you. So you have, for the preparation of GSTR-9, some facilitative files. Number one, GSTR-9 system computed summary. They have given some of the values which are automatically populated from GSTR-1. Then they have the GSTR-1 summary. The consolidated values of all the 12 months GSTR-1 is being given to you automatically. Consolidated GSTR-1, consolidated GSTR-3B. Then you have table 8A details. Table 8A details are, as our senior CAP Paul Thangam explained, those are the details of GSTR-2B adjusted to arrive at the value of table 8A, which is add and less of certain items, which we would be discussing during the course of today's discussion. And the HSN details of outward supplies, which are relevant to you for filling table number 12. So these auto-populated details are very much crucial. If there are going to be any of these changes in the auto-computed or the system computed values, then what you are going to file in GSTR-9, then there is going to be an automatic notice that can be triggered, because there is a value which is already fetched based on your GSTR-1 or your 3B or your 2B2 adjusted values, but you are going to fill some other value today. There is going to be an automatic notice which can be triggered. So these details needs to be referred to, and as much as possible, these details needs to be reconciled properly before you really file. There could be also another line of thought. Sir, when there is already a system computed summary value, when it is being given, why should I really change that value? Today, you can also note that GSTR-9 is an additional opportunity which is available for the tax-paying community to ensure that if at all there has been any of the differences in the GSTR-1 or the 3B returns file, if there was any error, any mistake committed in the GSTR-1 or 3B returns file, or if there is any additional transaction available in my books of accounts, which was not reflected in my GSTR-1 and 3B for various good or bad reasons, then those adjustments also need to be really and properly captured, brought into this GSTR-9 filing, so that there could be proper explanation given at any later point in time. Because GSTR-9 is a voluntary compliance by the taxpayer, and therefore, a very earnest effort needs to be taken to ensure that all the values from the books of accounts are reconciled. All the values from my GSTR-1, my GSTR-3B are also properly reconciled, to ensure that there are no much proper notices in the future. So what are the auto-populated values in my GSTR-9? In my GSTR-9, my tables in GSTR-4A are broadly fields in my table 4 are broadly auto-populated. So my details of table 4A are brought in from a GSTR-1. So see, if you read the GSTR-1 in detail, we have given the details of B2B separately, we have given the details of B2C separately, credit note separately, export separately, export with payment, without payment, though in the same field, have different fields. Then, so all these details are already given in a detailed breakup in my GSTR-1. So based on my GSTR-1, my B2C, B2B, export with payment, export without payment, SEZ with payment, my advances on which I have paid tax, my reverse charge transaction, supplies made through an e-commerce supplier, credit notes, export without payment, SEZ without payment, supplies made by an e-commerce supplier, exempted supplies, nil rated, non-GST supplies, my gross ITC. So with respect to my outward supplies, all my detailed transactions are captured from my GSTR-1. Some of the fields relating to reverse charge are captured from my GSTR-3B. My ITC, whatever is my total of table 4A of my GSTR-3B, has been auto-populated, non-editable with respect to table number 6A. All the values in table number 4 and 5, though are auto-populated or are given in my system computed summary of GSTR-9, they can be edited, modified, changed to reflect the correct values while filing my GSTR-9. With respect to my table number 6A, which is auto-populated from my table number 4A of GSTR-3B, it is an auto-populated field and cannot be modified. It is a non-editable field, and therefore that needs to be properly understood as to how table number 6A of GSTR-9 needs to be reconciled with the values at the very bottom. So basically, this is a very broad outline of the auto-populated fields in GSTR-9. So with respect to my outward supplies, the fields are broadly the same. My B2C supplies, my B2B supplies, all these fields are auto-populated, or the auto-populated summary details are already available. these values when compared to the financial year 23-24 has not undergone much of a modification, and these values remain to be exactly the same. One addition is with respect to table number 4 is with respect to 4G1, that is on which the e-commerce operator is liable to pay the tax. Say for example, where in respect of an outward supply, the tax is not paid by the supplier, but the tax is paid by the e-commerce operator, then the e-commerce operator will report such transactions in 6G1. So whether how will the taxable person report the transaction? Say for example, I am a restaurant, I am not paying the tax on my outward supplies. Swiggy, Zomato is paying the tax on my outward supplies. Then e-commerce operator has paid the tax, in which situation, how will I show it in my GSTR-9? So in my GSTR-9, those transactions will come in table number 6C1, right? Table number 5C1. Table number 5C1, which will show that I have it is my supply, but my e-commerce operator has reported the transactions. So it is extremely very crucial to note that these are the only primarily two changes where supplies made by the e-commerce operator, supplies made by the taxpayer, but the tax has been discharged by the e-commerce operator, are reported in two separate fields in table number 4 and table number 5 of GSTR-9. But basically, all other fields continue to be the same as has been the same with respect to the financial year 23-24. Now, what are the various checkpoints that could or that may trigger notices basically with respect to table number 4 and table number 5? Table number 4N talking about the total tax payable that has to match with your GSTR-3B, and very similarly table number 5N, which is my net taxes paid, also has to match with my GSTR-3B. If there is any mismatch, then automatically or most probably you might be getting a notice because of the difference between 3B versus 4N or 3B versus 5 capital N, as the case may be. With respect to credit notes, as our senior CAP Paul Tangam was also explaining, whenever there is a credit note that is mentioned in your GSTR-9, then you need to really make sure whether the conditions as is required to be met for the issuance of a GST credit note are actually met. If the conditions for the issuance of GST credit note are not satisfied, then as well, then there could be a notice that could be triggered, and therefore you need to make sure that whether the recipient has reversed the input tax credit, because whenever it is with respect to a credit note, you are reducing your outward tax liability that you have already discharged. When you have already paid a tax and when you want to reduce the amount of tax already paid, then of course there is going to be a notice that could be triggered. Whenever you are going to report an exempted supply, an ill-rated supply, or a non-GST supply, then the reversal of common credit as is required under rule number 42 or rule number 43 of the CGST rules is also extremely very important. So whenever there is an exempted supply, then Section 17 of the CGST Act, read with Rule 42 and Rule 43, requires that the amount of common credit is getting reversed. Those workings needs to be maintained properly whenever there is an amount of exempted supply that is getting reflected. With respect to exports, whether it is with payment of tax or without payment of tax, whether the amount has been realized is one crucial question. With respect to exports or zero rate, that is supplies to SEZ without payment of tax, then whether LUT was generated for the financial year 24-25 is one crucial question that needs to be addressed. So these are some of the checkpoints which needs to be ensured before filling up any of the fields in table number 4 and table number 5 of GSTR-9. Now we move to table number 6, where our senior has also been explaining in detail about the changes that has come with respect to the field or table number 6. With respect to table number 6, the main addition that you could see is with respect to the introduction of table number 6A1, which has the wordings to say ITC of any preceding financial year, that is financial year 23-24, availed in the financial year other than reclaim, right? So you could already note that the value in table number 6A, value in my table number 6A which is auto-populated from a table number 4A of GSTR-9B, is an auto-populated field which cannot be edited, which we already also discussed. Out of this ITC that I claimed during 24-25, in table number 4A, how much of that ITC pertains to the previous financial year? That needs to be segregated in 6A1. This segregation is extremely very crucial because the value of ITC of current financial year is what is mapped along with my table number 8A. So for the mapping of my field with my table number 8A, I need to ensure that the value of ITC of the previous year is properly filled in table number 6A1. I will go more into depth of each of the other fields as well in the very coming slides. One of the other fields which has got a very significant impact or discussion is with respect to table number 6H, which talks about the amount of ITC reclaimed under the provisions of the Act. So ITC reclaimed is a very crucial aspect, which is also coming part of discussion in multiple aspect of things. So in a very sum and substance, if I talk about table number 6 talks about all the ITC that I have availed. So 6A is auto-populated, 6A1 talks about ITC of the previous year, 6B talks about the ITC of this year, segregated into inputs, input services, and capital goods. Segregation between inputs and input services is optional, but whatever is pertaining to capital goods needs to be mandatorily segregated. Inputs plus input services can be consolidated and filled in the field of inputs. What is the RCM ITC from unregistered person, reverse charge ITC from registered persons, import of goods, import of services, ITC from input service distributor, and coming to 6H talking about the ITC reclaimed. When I talk about my ITC, which is to be filled in 6A1, that is the ITC of the financial year 23-24 or any of the earlier financial years, which is claimed during the financial year 24-25. In table number 4A of GSTR-9B is what will come in 6A1. One ITC that should not come there is whenever there was a reversal made under Rule 37 or Rule 37A. Whenever there was a reversal made in Rule 37 or 37A of any of the preceding financial years, and such ITC is claimed during this financial year, during the financial 24-25, then the instructions very clearly provide that it has to be added in 6H and not in 6A1, though it pertains to the previous financial year. So ITC of financial year 23-24 reversed, considering the provisions of Rule 37 and Rule 37A, claimed during the financial 24-25 needs to be given in 6H. All other ITC of the earlier financial years needs to be given in 6A1. One other ITC that will come in 6H would be the ITC of 24-25, which was reversed and also reclaimed during the financial year 24-25. Members would be able to very well understand that we have one concept called as temporary reversal under the format of filing GSTR-9B. I would be taking you through the format of filing GSTR-9B also now. So whatever is the value reflected in my GSTR-2B is shown in that month GSTR-4A5, and the temporary reversal is shown for reclaim in any of the subsequent months. Such reclaimed ITC, which is added in 4A5 and also shown in 4D1, will be added here in 6H of my GSTR-9. What is Rule 37 and Rule 37A? When payment to the supplier is not made within a period of 180 days, then ITC needs to be reversed along with interest after the completion of 180 days. This is what is provided in Rule 37. I have made the payment to the supplier within a period of 180 days, but my supplier has failed to make the file GSTR-9B. That is, my supplier has not paid the tax to the government. Section 16(2)(c) very clearly provides that tax should have been paid to the government. This is what is provided in Rule 37A, which goes on to say where my supplier has not paid the tax to the government, then I am required to reverse the input tax credit, which is provided in Rule 37A. When I have reversed an ITC under Rule 37, 37A in any of the previous financial years, reclaimed during the year, that ITC will come in 6H. All other ITC of the previous year will come in 6A1. So this is something which I am talking about. So just a minute, just 1 second. So though we have some live going on immediately here, we have a team who do not have any audio issues, but I have some communication to say that there is some audio issue. So we are just checking the audio issue. If any one of you is having an audio issue, can you please let us know immediately? Sir, if any one of you is having an audio issue, can you please let us know? Audio is not clear. Some of you have entered a few minutes back that you have okay. So I hear that things are okay. So yes, there is issue. There is issue. Yes, sir. Okay, 1 second, sir. I'm just changing the internet connection here. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much for reverting to say that there is an issue. 1 second. I am just, sir, am I better audible now? Is my voice better now? Is there still, sir, screen is not visible. I have not shared my screen. I have not put on my audio, video also. Okay, thanks for the very enthusiastic thumbs up now. Thank you so much. So I will just share my screen. I am not switching on my video for now. I will switch on my video, you can also confirm. Sir, I've switched on my video now. Is my audio still clear or is there any difficulty in the audio? Looks better. Yes, yes, great. Okay, there is some lag. I will continue this session now if there is any time lag, because now we are going to the most crucial part with respect to filling up of the table 6. So now, even if you have missed any of the portions, better switch off. Great, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you, Gordon, sir. I will switch off the video with your suggestion. So, see, the point is, we have had a very detailed discussion on the background of the changes, some of the key fields that have been included with respect to my outward supplies. Now we go to the very most crucial part with respect to table number 6A. So where should my value come? What value should be reported where? We are going to look into with very practical illustrations of various scenarios. 12 different scenarios are what we are going to look into on where are the various fields. These details need to be filled, because these are not something which has been very much clarified directly. We have 3 illustrations which have been given in the FAQ, but despite the illustrations given, it has taken a very enormous amount of time and effort for us to really go through and understand the various scenarios, how things have to be really shown. I am sharing my screen right now. So Is my screen visible, sir? Ravi Shankar, sir, many people, Santosh. So everyone had commented to say that yes, my screen is not visible. So now my screen is visible. Great. So now as I really move forward to the very important discussion. So before we really move on to the very next slide, which is to talk about the discussion or the comparison with table 8A as well. What is Rule 37, Rule 37A? Now that we have very much clarified, Rule 37 talking about the non-payment of consideration within 180 days, 37A talking about the non-payment of tax by my supplier. In all these situations, I need to reverse the ITC, and that is coming as a very specific column in table number 7. So table number 6 talks about the claim of ITC, table number 7 talks about the reversal of ITC. So all reversals are coming in table number 7 of my GSTR-9. So there we have one additional field as 6A1, which is talking about where tax has not been paid by my supplier. I need to reverse such ITC as well. So this table number reversal, total reversal of ITC has to match with my GSTR-3B as to how much ITC that I have actually reversed. So table number 8, our senior CAP Paul Thangam also brought out this important difference in table number 8. Table number 8A says it is ITC as per GSTR-2B, which is auto-populated. This ITC as per GSTR-2B, I will talk a little bit slow so that whatever is an audio issue is also not much visible. Or is it continuing? Right? So basically, table number 8A in its wordings says it is ITC as per GSTR-2B. But if I add the ITC as per GSTR-2B, will this value in table 8A match? The wordings, as you could see from the slide, is very clearly ITC as per GSTR-2B. So if I take all my 2B, total it out, will it actually match? Absolutely no. Straightforward answer, no. Reason being, they have said that value as per GSTR-2B that I auto-populate in GSTR-8A will be adjusted with two important things. Invoices of the financial year 23-24, which is coming in my GSTR-2B, will not be shown in table 8A. Number 1. Number 2, invoices of the financial year 24-25 uploaded belatedly by my supplier, therefore not reflecting in my GSTR-2B of the financial year 24-25, but getting reflected in my GSTR-2B of the financial year 25-26 will also be added in my GSTR in my table 8A. Therefore, they are making two important adjustments. One, the transactions of the previous year reflected in 2B is getting removed. Transactions of this year 2B, this year reflected in the transactions of 2B of financial 25-26 is getting added. Net figure is something like GSTR-2A, but they have called it as GSTR-2B as adjusted. So to really arrive at this value of 8A itself, they have given an Excel file, but to understand whether table 8A is correct or not itself requires a very detailed reconciliation. So even there, some ITC which is not eligible shown in my GSTR-2B is also required to be adjusted. Therefore, table 8A Excel file though given, whether that figure automatically matches with my table 8A, absolutely no. That also you need to adjust. My credit note, debit note adjustment, ITC not available adjustment. So even to reconcile, when I have a breakup of table 8A, to match that with my table 8A alone requires one amount of understanding of how the table 8A actually works. Table number 8B is talking about ITC as per 6B. Previously, up to the financial 23-24, it was ITC as per 6B and ITC as per 6H. Now it is only the ITC as per table number 6B. This is one crucial difference. Therefore, whatever is in 6H will not match as per my 2B, only as per 6B will match as per by 2B. With this understanding, let us understand how to fill various different scenarios in my GSTR table number 6A, because table number 6, because from table 6 automatically that 6B will flow, all other values will also flow into my table number 8. So to understand my table number 6 better, I will just show you the snippet of what GSTR-3B ITC breakup looks like. In GSTR-3B, table number 4A is the total of ITC claimed. Table number 4B is the ITC reversed. 4C is the net ITC. 4A, generally 4A5 is all other ITC. 4B1 is what we call as the permanent reversal. 4B2 is what we call as the temporary reversal. And from my temporary reversal, if I am claiming ITC, then I will add that to 4A5, and that is what we call as reclaimed ITC, and that reclaimed ITC is what I will fill in 4D1, right? So whatever ITC that I reclaim, I will fill it in 4D1. So 4B1 is permanent reversal, 4B2 is temporary reversal, and with this understanding, we will move to various different scenarios. Scenario 1. ITC pertaining to the financial year 23-24, which is availed in the financial year 23-24 itself. It was shown under permanent reversal of 4B1 erroneously. Erroneously, someone which was a right ITC, they have shown it as permanent reversal. So this year, during the financial 24-25, that would have been reclaimed in 4A. Let me call that as 4A5 itself in all other ITC. In GSTR-9, since it is an ITC pertaining to the financial 23-24, it will come in 6A1, which is the new field, ITC of the preceding financial year. Right? Next scenario. ITC of the financial year 23-24 availed during 23-24, but during 24-25, I understood I claimed some ineligible ITC. Therefore, I shown it as a permanent reversal in 24-25. Then that has to be shown as a reversal in 7E under section 17 subsection 5. It is a blocked credit, and therefore that is that I showed it as an eligible ITC in 23-24. Now during 24-25, I showed it under permanent reversal. Then it will come under my reversal table of GSTR-9 7E. 23-24 ITC, I availed in 23-24. I showed it as a temporary reversal in 4B2. Why did I show it as a temporary reversal? It was because I did not pay the supplier within 180 days. After making the supplier, I would be again eligible to claim the benefit of input tax credit. Therefore, under the provisions of Rule 37, I had shown it as a temporary reversal in 4B2. That temporary reversal, I am claiming it in 4A, 5 of 24-25. Then I will show it under 6H, ITC reclaimed. ITC of the financial 23-24, availed in 23-24, shown as a temporary reversal in 24-25. because that 180 days time limit fell under 24-25. Invoice of 23-24, 6 months passed during 24-25. I have shown it as a temporary reversal under 4B2. That will also come under 7E. Right? Sorry, not 7E. That we have a separate table under 7A1 or 7A as the case may be. Under 7A or 7A1 as the case may be. 23-24 ITC availed in 23-24, shown as a temporary reversal in 24-25. I have reclaimed it. During this 24-25. I reversed it also during 24-25. I also reclaimed it during 24-25. My reclaiming ITC, I will show it under 6H. ITC reversal, I will show it under 7A or 7A1. 23-24 ITC availed during 23-24. Temporary reversal shown during 23-24. Temporary reversal because it was there in my 2B. But it was not there in my books of 23-24. Therefore, I reclaimed it during this financial year 24-25. I will show that under 6A1. Because that is an ITC pertaining to the previous financial year. Only when it is under Rule 37, Rule 37A, I will show it under 6H. All other situation, I will show it under 6A1. Financial year 23-24 ITC, which came in my 2B, I missed to claim it at all in 23-24. During 24-25, because I still have the time limit up to November 30th of November to claim such ITC, I claimed it in my 4A of 24-25. I will show that also in 6A1, because if you show it in 6B, my 6B will automatically be matched with my table number 8A, where there should not be a difference. Therefore, this is all talking about the ITC of 23-24. Now we move to the ITC of financial year 24-25, which is shown in 4A of 24-25. I will show it in 6B directly. Now, ITC of 24-25 shown in 4A and also shown under 4B1 of 24-25. That I will show it under 6B as ITC availed, under 7E as section 17.5 reversal, under section 7E as section 17 subsection 5 reversal. 24-25 ITC claimed in 3B of 24-25, permanent reversal shown under 24-25. Once I showed it as permanent reversal, again, then I understood, no, it is not permanent reversal, it is correct ITC only. Then I will show it once under 6B. Second time I will show it under 6H. Reversal will come in 7E. 7E. 24-25 ITC, I claimed it under 4A. It is a temporary reversal under 4B2 for the reasons of 37 or 37A. Then I will show it under 4A. Then I have reclaimed it also because I have reversed 180 days. I made the payment also. I reclaimed such ITC. Then what will happen? I will claim it under 6B. Reclaiming, I will show it under 6H. Reversal, I will show it under 7A or 7A1. If I did not reclaim, I will not show in 6H. Other situations, I will show it under 6B, and all other temporary reversal will come under 7H. All other temporary reversal of 24-25. Because it was not there in my books, it came in my GSTR 2B. I have shown it under 4A. All temporary reversal will come under 7H of my GSTR 9. So whenever there is a negative difference in 6J, my total ITC, then there would be a problem. If there is a difference in my 7I, which is the total ITC reversed when compared to 3B, then there could be a notice which could be issued. My 7J, which is my net ITC of the financial 24-25, plus my 6A1, if that is more than my net ITC as per table number 4C of my 3B, then there as well there could be a notice. any negative difference in table number 8, 8D or 8I, then there could be a requirement of reversal or there could be a notice which could be issued. 7C plus 7D plus 7D, which is the ITC reversed. That is also to be compared with my permanent reversal of table number 4B1 of my 3B. So these are my permanent reversals that I show. That permanent reversal, if it is not matching also, there could be a notice that could be getting triggered. Total ITC in 8K. What is the balancing figure in table 8? That will not be allowed to be carried forward to the next year. That is ITC lapsed. So whatever you show in table 8, you need to show it as ITC availed, but to be availed in the next year. So that needs to be properly looked into. Table number 9. So until the last year, we had tax payable, we had the tax paid through cash, and we had the tax paid through ITC. All the tax paid columns of paid through cash and paid through ITC were auto-populated. Only the tax payable field was editable. Now we have two other fields also, which is total of tax paid through cash plus total of tax paid through ITC, and whatever is the difference between the tax payable and the total tax paid. If there is any difference in table number 9, then that amount will have to be taken as payable at the time of filing annual return. So whenever there is any positive difference, then you need to make sure that it is getting, there is a payment of tax. If in column 2, that is tax payable also, if there is a difference between GSTR-9 itself, in table number 4N, I have shown something as payable. Okay, my slide has not moved, right? 1 second. Sir, I'm sharing my screen once again. You can check and confirm once the screen is made visible. 1 second. So there are two things that we need to really look into. One, if there is a payment of tax that is getting triggered in my table 9 of, in my column 9 of GSTR-9, then as well there is a problem. Tax payable field in my table 9 is editable, but that field has to match internally with my table field in table number 4N. Table number 10, 11, 12, and 13 talks about transactions of the financial year 24-25, which is shown in the returns of the financial year 25-26. Transactions of financial year 24-25 shown in the returns of the financial year 25-26. Here, let me highlight the very important feature in table number 13. Table number 13 talks about ITC of the financial year availed in the next financial year. We have been also already discussing about the various situations of how these fields need to be dealt with in table number 6. In table number 13, there are two details that needs to be really captured. ITC of the financial year 24-25, which was shown as a temporary reversal, but which was reclaimed during the financial year 25-26. That needs to be captured in table number 13, number 1. Number 2, ITC of the financial year 24-25, I have not claimed, I have not shown as temporary reversal because the transaction itself came in my GSTR 2B of the financial year 25-26. Then also that ITC needs to be brought into table number 13. One important feature that you need to understand as a contrasting difference between table number 13 and now I will reflect back to table number 8. Going back to table number 8, Going back to table number 8. Table number 8C has one important field. ITC on inward supplies received during the financial year but availed in the next financial year up to the specified period. Table number 8C talks about also a very similar detail, that is to say ITC of the received during the financial year but which is availed in the next financial year. This is something which is very similar to table number 13. This is very similar to table number 13, but table number 13 will have two details. Table number 13 will have two details, as I had already explained. Table number 13 will have the details of ITC reversed in 24-25 and reclaimed during 25-26, and also what is reflected in my 2B of the next year. But table number 8C will capture only the serial number 2 below. Table number 8C will capture only the table number, the serial number 2, which I have explained. That serial number 1, which is claimed during 24-25, shown as a temporary reversal in 24-25, will not be shown under table number 8C. So the serial number 1 will not come under table number 8C. Serial number 2 will only come under 8C, but serial number 1 plus serial number 2 needs to be auto-populated in table number 13. Table number 14 talking about the differential amount. Whenever there is a difference between tax payable and paid, that is being brought into table number 14, which continues to be as a result of table number 10 and 11. Now you understand what is table number 10 and 11. Table number 10 and 11 talking about the supplies made during the financial 24-25, but which is shown now in the but which was shown in the returns of the financial 25-26. Those details are given in table number 10 and 11. You need to say that is coming as payable now, whether you have already paid or not. So that amount of 24-25 shown in 25-26, whether it was, if it was already paid, that value needs to be entered over here, so that there is no other additional amount of liability that is getting triggered as a result of table number 10 and 11. So table number 10 and 11 talking about outward supplies. Table number 12 and 13 talking about ITC, and very particularly with respect to table number 13, where that ITC, there is one very important and crucial difference that needs to be undertaken. Table number 15. Table number 15 talking about demands and refunds. So whatever is the amount of demands raised during the year, details of refunds claimed during the year. There might be a line of thought also to say, sir, this table number 15 is an optional field, but many of the notices that could be triggered is also coming from optional fields, because when a field is available, why this detail has not been actually provided for is one of the very crucial questions that is being raised at the time of inspection, audit, or any of the various scenarios also. Therefore, though it is an optional field, it is extremely very important that the details are properly filled, even with respect to the refunds and also with respect to the demands which have been raised during the year. So with respect to refunds, what was the refund that was claimed during the year? Out of the refunds claimed, how much was sanctioned, how much was rejected, and how much is pending to be disbursed? This is something which is very crucial information in respect of both export refund or inverted tax refund or any other refund as the case may be. So all refund applications which are filed during the year, that needs to be very properly verified, so that that is properly captured in table number 15. Table number 15E talking about the total demand of taxes. Total demand of taxes, and out of which how much is paid and how much of the demand is pending. So these are also details which are optional, but which is extremely very important that it is filled properly. It is not only with respect to the demand of taxes, it also talks about interest, penalty, and late fee as the case may be. Whatever is the demand that has been raised, whether it was paid or whether it is still pending, needs to be properly shown as at the date of filing the annual return. So as at the date of filing annual return, that is as of today, how to verify what are the total number of notices that are now pending. So that is where we at Zentax Clinic have this very unified platform for notice management, where for each separate GST number, or even with respect to multiple GST number together, you will be able to verify for these notices, for these GST numbers, how many notices were issued during this period, how much of the demand is pending, and how much of the demand has already been acted upon. So this is the snapshot from the GST, from the Zentax portal, where you can see all the notices for any one particular GST number or multiple GST number also. You can add multiple GST number in a single shot. 100 GST numbers in a single Excel file can be uploaded to view the notices of all the 100 different GST numbers. And for each specific GST number, if you want any of the support, if you want to know why you have not filed a reply, or if you want support for filing a reply, filing an appeal, or filing an advance ruling, when you want to go into any of the HSN classification, there might be a very important note to say whether the rate of tax for this HSN is right or wrong, whether you need to file an appeal and before what time. If you want to support before for representation before any of the appellate tribunals, before any of the appellate authorities, this is what we basically do at Zentax. If you want support on any of these aspects, we provide solutions for all of these activities. So you want to get support, you can directly get support from the portal itself. So directly all these solutions are also available through Zentax Clinic platform. So table number 16, talking about the supplies received from composition taxpayers deemed supply by job worker and goods sent on approval basis. This is also an optional field, but where you have sent on approval basis, but it is not returned, then if it is not returned within a period of 6 months, then you need to pay the tax on such a transaction as well. These transactions needs to be very carefully monitored, because even if it is not filled, these could be questions raised at the time of audit inspection, or such as the case may be. Table number 17, talking about my HSN details on outward supply. For the first 4 years, 17, 18, 18, 19, 19, 20, 20, 21, this was an optional field. Now, this is a mandatory field. Therefore, HSN details needs to be given. Details as is filed in GSTR-1 is given for the taxpayer in the auto-computed details. From this also, notices are also getting triggered, because whether e-invoice is generated, whether e-way bill is generated. So all these concerned questions are coming based on your table number 17. So this table number 17 details also needs to be carefully matched before filing the GSTR-9. Table number 18, talking about my HSN supplies on inward HSN on inward supplies. This is an optional field, but when you have some blocked credit, please make sure to verify your inward supplies and give the HSN to the extent possible. If you are giving any HSN from, if you are using, say, some software like SAP or any of the any of the higher end databases, then you might have the details of HSN. But if you are giving that HSN details also, make sure that any of the HSN falling under 8703, 9963, which are food and beverages, blocked credits, if you are giving, then you might have a system generated or triggered notice as well. Then you need to compute the liabilities and you need to submit. And these are the most important details with respect to GSTR-9. GSTR-9C is also yet another with the detailed discussion. The details of GSTR-9 needs to be properly matched for the filing of GSTR-9C. Otherwise, the details will not get even filled, number one. Number two, how to match the values in GSTR-9 and 9C is yet another very detailed subject matter of discussion, which we will take it as a very separate subject. When we really started this discussion, we wanted to complete it within a very short period of 1 hour. But the subject is very detailed, and therefore we have taken it across 2 different sessions. We will have a very detailed deliberation on GSTR-9C immediately in the very coming weeks. If there are any clarifications, we will take it up during, we will share our contact number as well. we would like to have any of your clarifications. All the points on GSTR-9C is also fully ready, but the only point is that for paucity of time, we would like to complete the session with respect to the discussion on GSTR-9. We will have a very separate discussion for GSTR-9C quickly. Any questions on GSTR-9 and 9C, you may please drop in a message on our WhatsApp or share us on the email so that we will revert to you. This presentation is immediately available on the YouTube channel, has been made live. For any clarifications, please refer to the YouTube channel so that you can refer for any further clarifications. This session has been having a very phenomenal level of participation and interest. Thanks to each one of you for your participation. Sincere apologies for the technical glitches that have been there during the course of the session. So we will continue in the next upcoming sessions for a detailed deliberation on GSTR-9C. Thank you so much for your participation. Looking back for further discussions. Thank you.